They were learning about corresponding parts of congruent figures. Try saying that 10 times fast. That's a tongue twister. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next page. And we are going to look at these two triangles and look at the given. It says that triangle ABC is congruent to DEF. If those two are congruent, then what we need to do is find the measure of angle B. The name is very important because if it says that we're looking for angle B will match up with angle E according to the name. The name is very significant in telling you which pieces of the triangle will match up. Angle B is in the middle of this name, angle E is in the middle of this name, therefore they're corresponding parts, so they should be the same size. So if we go to angle B, we notice that we have nothing here. Okay? Now, angle E, over on this picture, is supposed to be exactly the same size since these are congruent figures. So, when they ask you for the measure of angle B, it should be exactly the same size, 66 degrees. And please make sure you write all of this information down. Let's go ahead and take a look at another problem. Take a look at these. You may want to pause to draw them into your notes. And we'll go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the names because they tell us what parts are supposed to be corresponding. And let's see, the name down here, it's asking us for SU. How long is it? When it doesn't have the line over it, remember, it's asking you for a measurement. How long is SU? So you go up to the top. You notice that S and U are the first and the last. So we look for VX because that should be its corresponding line. So SU, you'll notice, has nothing on it. But if you go from V to X, you'll notice you have a 41 listed for how long that side is. So when you go down here, SU, how long is it? Well, it's the same length as VX. So it is 41 feet. I could write a 41 over here, and it's 41 feet because the two lines are congruent. SU is congruent to VX. Since the two triangles are congruent, we can make that conclusion. Okay, make sure you have everything written down. And now we'll move to the next slide. Take a moment, write everything you see on here. Okay, now that you've had a chance to do that, you've paused it, I hope, to write all the information down. Let's take a look. It says that these two triangles are congruent. Given they're congruent, find the measure of angle D. So the name, there's angle D. It should match up with angle A according to the name. So I look over here and angle D has a little arrow pointing in here. It's trying to tell you that this angle is 6y plus 16 degrees. And angle A has a little arrow pointing into it. See this thing? It's like a little arrow. And it's telling you that angle A is 9y minus 2 degrees. According to the name, these two angles should be exactly the same size, congruent. So we have angle A should equal angle D. And if that's true, we can go ahead and substitute in what they have. Angle A has 9y minus 2. Oh, that didn't look very good. Let me get an eraser real quick and see if I can fix that. And, oh, I just erased all of it. So let's go ahead and start one more time. All right, let's take a look over here. We have a measure of angle A should equal the measure of angle D. Now, measure of angle A says 9y minus 2. It should be equal to measure D. So the angle of D says 6y plus 16 on it. Subtract your 6y from both sides using your basic algebra skills. And this is getting really messy. Sorry about that. 3y minus 2 equals 16. And of course we want to add our 2 to both sides because we're trying to isolate our y value. And so we get 3y equals 18. And divide both sides by 3. And therefore y equals 6. Now we go back up and did we answer the question? Let's look up here. Find the measure of angle D? Well, we found y, but that's going to help us. So if we go to angle D, notice this is the equation or the expression for angle D. We know y, so for measure of angle D, we should write equals 6y plus 16 degrees. And so now we can substitute our y in. Our y value was 6. We pull it in from over here and we just substitute it in. Plus 16 degrees. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 16 degrees. And if we put it all together, we finally get 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry your 1. And so you get a 52 degrees for your measure of angle D. Please make sure that you take a moment to pause and have all of this written down in your notes. All right, our next little slide, practicing looking at congruent figures and seeing what's congruent. If we look down here, the question is asking you for LM. So go up, find LM in your name. It's stating that they're congruent figures. LM are the first 2 letters, so it should be congruent to GH. Now go to your picture. So you now have, I'm going to write it over here, GH should be the same size as LM. If that's true, we go along GH, and look how long it is. It says centimeters, 4x plus 5. So we'll replace this with 4x plus 5 centimeters equals, we go along LM, voila, right here you will notice you have 6x minus 15 centimeters. Now, we just do our basic algebra steps, subtract 4x from both sides. Since we know how to do our algebra so well, we write 5 equals 2x, and bring down the minus 15, please. And of course, we still need to get x by itself, so we want to get rid of the 15 that's hanging out there, so we add 15 to both sides. And then we get 20 equals 2x. Let me fix that equal sign. And since we have one more step to do, we have to go ahead and divide by 2. And therefore, x equals 10. But you go back and you read the question. It says LM equals blank centimeters. Well, I know x, but I didn't fill it in yet. So I go over to LM, and I notice that LM has this expression. So let's go back over here. LM is the expression 6x minus 15 centimeters. We know our x, so let's replace the x with a 10. And now we can have 6 times 10 is 60, and subtract 15. And if we take 60 and subtract 15, we will get a 45. This looks like an inequality sign. It should just be a nice little equal sign. So LM equals 45 centimeters. Remember, you find the equal parts, congruent parts up here, by the name. Set up your algebra expression, solve for x. Don't forget the very important step that you need to substitute it back in. On the line LM, you'll notice this expression. So you use that, substituting your x in. Let's try one more problem. And you will notice here that we're looking for measure of angle H. Here's angle H in the name. And according to the name, that these two are congruent, it should match up with M. So I go to H, and I notice we have this little algebra. I don't know why it's skipping on me. Let me see if I can fix my pen. Okay, not so neat, but at least we have it. H is 9y plus 17, and M. There's our M. So we go over here and we write that the measure of angle H equals the measure of angle M. So let's substitute the algebra expressions in. This one has 9y plus 17, and angle M has 11y minus 1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and subtract the smaller y value using our great algebra skills. And we get 17 equals 2y minus 1. Add your 1 to both sides. Oops, there we go. Add 1 to both sides. And you get 18 equals 2y. Set an equal sign. Divide by your 2. And y equals 9. Now you're tempted to say, oh, I'm done. No, you're not. Please go make sure. Measure of angle h. This one is your h, right up in here. It says 9y plus 17. So 9y, ooh, let me get an eraser. That one looks horrible. Let's see if I can get an eraser real quick. Sorry about that, guys. And we got that. All right, let's get back, get my pen. All right, and so let's go ahead and write the expression for h. It says 9y plus 17. Substitute your y in. You said it was 9, so let's go ahead and put a 9 there. And 9 times 9 is 81. Plus 17. 7 plus 1 gets you an 8. And 1 plus 8 gets you a 9. So our total angle is 98 degrees. So we can say the measure of angle h equals 98 degrees. So what's angle m? Well, it would also have to be 98. If you substitute the 9 in here, you're still going to get a 98. All right, so you got the idea. Basically, when you have congruent figures, when it says this little symbol up here means congruent, you can take the individual parts, whether it be angles or side lengths, angles, and match them, and use your algebra to solve for a variable, and then substitute it in. And you can also do it for side lengths like we've already practiced. That's it for today. I know you probably have the other videos to watch, but I thought I'd get this in and make sure that you understand corresponding parts are equal. So set them equal and solve your algebra expression. Have a great one. Talk to you tomorrow.